Igor, thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to us on Tyagi Talks. This is what my YouTube channel is called, and I'm really grateful that you decided to spare some time, even when you're spending time with your family, even when you're just becoming a grandfather.
Thank you
Again,
so much, dear Anand. It's great to see you. I was missing you last few months.
well, many congratulations once again. Let's start with your name, shall we? I mean, I was having a quick Google at what Igor means. What does Igor mean actually?
It's an old Scandinavian name, which kind of reflects about men from steel, something like that. Not sure, to be honest, too much.
I'll tell you.
I was unlucky that my father had a Russian best friend to get my name out of him. So my Christian name is Nicola. Yeah.
Is Nicola. Okay, all right. I had a quick Google at what Igor means, and what I found out was that it means the heart of a lion. So very steel-like in that sense, but the heart of a lion. I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe you can check with your family back home.
I'll take it as granted.
And actually, that's the note on which I wanted to start the interview because your team, that's the Indian national football team for the men's, has channeled that spirit of the heart of a lion, Igor, in the triple triumph that we've seen. You know, the Tri Nations Cup, the Intercontinental Cup, and of course the SAF Championships. I wanted to ask you, which one are you most proud of, and why?
I wouldn't take any particularly out, but I would say that the last one was the most important, because the thing is in life and anywhere else, the people remember you as you finish the job. So if we were winning the two tournaments prior to the SAF and then losing in the final of the SAF, nothing would have been the same. So I would give priority to the SAF championship, which was the last trophy we won amongst few in the last few months. It was really important for us, and it was not easy, to be honest, because there were many doubts throughout and prior to the semi-finals, then with my suspension, and then I had my coaches, we always debate, because I love open talks with my coaches about what they think, how they see the situation, and then asking from them to provide reasons to think about certain situations that way, and then giving my position and my views, and then explaining to them how I see the situation. And there was one interesting thing, let's say prior to the semi-final against Lebanon in the SAF championship, where I had my staff coming to me because they could clearly see at the last training session that I decided to rest for the semi-final 5-6 first 11 players, because I always look at the wide picture, and they were kind of worried, telling me, coach, sorry, but we feel we need to come and express our thoughts and all that, and we think that we need to get to the finals, and then whatever is there. But if we miss going into the finals, if we rest now these boys and this and that, what's going to happen if we lose in the semis, And I said, don't worry. Why you not having trust in the players who are starting the game? We can change anything after 10, 15 minutes if anything goes wrong. So what's the point? I don't want our team losing the intensity of the game, because these players played game 3 days prior to that. They will not be fresh enough. And I want these players to be fresh for the final game against Kuwait, where we need to put the most intensity there throughout the whole tournament of the last 7 minutes, So it was kind of a good debate and quality, and that's the quality we are getting out of this stuff at the moment. This is what I like. These are the people I can really trust and rely on. And it was an amazing couple of months.
Igor, I had to ask you. I mean, we spoke about the heart of lion spirit that we showed in the Tri Nations Cup as a men's national team. But why were you so angry during the tournaments, especially in the SAF Cup?
I was so much and so deep into it, and I was becoming angry throughout last 4 and plus years with all the referees, wherever we went, wherever we played, pushing our team off the pitch with their decisions, and it was kind of accumulating inside me, because that was that was something which India started to suffer a long time ago, and you just got used to it. And I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that kind of acceptance of just not caring about getting wrong decisions your way again and again and again, and not showing reaction or passion to change it, because you need to fight for your status in football. You need to show resistance. You need to show angriness if it's needed. And we needed our boys there to change that mentality on the pitch, exactly. And most of my reactions were going because we were working in many aspects throughout last camp, which was wonderful, where we had enough time for work, where we could concentrate on so many things. And one of the point was to awaken up this mental attitude from our players in regards to the referees' wrongdoings against our team, again and again and again. And referees just think that's normal when you make mistakes against India. That's not normal. We need to stand up against that, you know. And that's kind of a thing we changed also in the last couple of tournaments. And hopefully it will be different now in the future when India plays big tournaments.
I wonder whether, you were this angry in the World Cup semi-final of 1998 when your team, Croatia, lost to France. And did you channel that anger against the Netherlands in the third place match? I wonder if you were different as a young player when you were playing for Croatia to how now you are as a coach.
No, we didn't have a reason to be angry at anyone else but ourselves there. You see, which is far different. When someone else is causing you pain, like it happened to us in the 1996 against Germany at Old Trafford, when we were taken out of the tournament with terrible referee decisions against Croatia in one game, 5, 6 major mistakes from referee went against Croatia to take us out and to let Germany go all the way through. And at that point, we were the generation destined to win the Euro 96. We were far better in 96 than in 98, And then that anger was living within us for 2 years. We wanted to meet that Germany again. And it happened in France, if you remember, in the quarterfinals. You could clearly see the passion, the commitment, and everything there in that game. And that was the biggest defeat Germany had in the history of the World Cup competition, So, but the important thing here is whatever kind of anger you have for whatever reason, you need to concentrate that anger in a positive angle, because anger can lead you and mislead you many times. It can take you away from the path you are taking to achieve something. But if you take anger as a part of the stimulants you need for achieving things and making things happen, then that's a wonderful thing to have. Same as a passion, as a patriotism, as a love for the nation. All these little things which are needed there to make one team great, because you have so many great teams in the world on the club stage or internationally as a national teams, but only few are capable of winning. And those few are always there with a great passion, with a great love towards the shirt they are wearing and the colors of the country they are defending. So that's something that we are now considering as the most important part when we speak about the Indian national team, which is leading us towards the triumphs.
Tell me, back in 1998, when you beat the Netherlands, finished third in the World Cup, what was the reaction back in a country which was not even 3 million, I think, back then?
No, Croatia at that time was a country of 4.5 million people. You need to know that Croatia has the same population in the country and outside the country. Most of our migrants, those who were not happy with the communist regime, fled the country after the Second World War, and many youngsters were migrating from the country through decades because they were not happy with the regime, they were not happy with the job choices and all that. And Australia, we have in Australia 600,000 Croatian people, in Southern America, North America, in Europe, a couple of millions. So it's a huge amount for such a small country, people who fled the country for various reasons. And they are our passion. They are the most passionate people you can imagine when we speak about Croatia. They are the biggest reason why Croatia got its independence, because when the war started in Croatia, they were the ones helping the country with their money, sending it over here, buying arms, because at that time Croatia had embargo on buying arms and defending the country. And we are very united, never mind how far away we are from each other. And that's what you're asking me about. It's difficult for me to say because we were out of Croatia for a couple of months. First, doing the pre-season, being in the camp. I will tell you, I got my younger daughter delivery at the time when I was in the camp, and my coach didn't let me go to see her. That's how important that was for Croatia. And he said to me, "My son, I understand that. I understand what you're asking me for. But the cause we are here for, it's much, much bigger, much, much higher. Because that was the World Cup, that was not the friendly game." And all these little things were showing clearly to everyone how passionate we are about everything what we are trying to achieve for the country. And then witnessing on our way back, coming back to Croatia, millions of people on the street in the country of 4 million people. That was something amazing. We could see on videos what was going on in the cities all over Croatia. Hundreds of thousands of people celebrating our victories, throwing themselves into the sea, crazy, crazy stuff. This is something I dream about India achieving something similar there. Obviously, not winning the bronze medal, but the goal of becoming part of the World Cup is something which is not so far away anymore if we are well aware about our position, our situation, our capacities, and if we are united as a football family. And this is what I'm trying to do and insisting on doing now, uniting everyone and thinking clearly that the nation needs to be the first option, that everyone needs to work in the favor of the nation and then consider themselves after that.
Actually, since you mentioned India so much, let's just go back to the time when that first phone call came saying, "Okay, Igor, you're on. You're the men's national team head coach now." How did India happen for you, and why India and no other place at that point in your career?
I had some private issues, to be honest. My health was one of the main reasons why I decided to leave position, because no coach would leave its position after qualifying for the World Cup and going to Brazil with a great national team like Croatia, But I didn't feel in a condition to help the boys in a way which was needed at that time anymore and go there with them. And it wouldn't be moral from my side or sincere to be selfish at that point, and hurt myself and the nation as well. If I cannot give my maximum at certain point of my job, then it's better to let someone else do it. And that's what happened to me. So I needed a good rest because I was too deep involved in all problems in our football in Croatia, because you need to know I was the first one to open the clear war here in Croatia about certain corrupt things and many wrongdoings and misdoings. And it was not an easy battle when you have corrupt society, because you have many enemies, and that disturbed my condition, my health and all of that. And I had to move away for a couple of years nearly from football, because it's a stressful job. Whoever is passionate, whoever is giving himself totally to the job he is doing, he needs to suffer, believe me, because whatever is said, whatever is written, it needs to have great affection. Not on you. I'm very strong. I'm man from steel, It's not for no reason that I got the nickname Iron Igor in England,
Correct.
But
Yeah.
you're not alone. You're not living alone. You have small kids going to school. You have old parents. You need to think and see wider picture. How much affection, negative affection, certain things from football pitch, which should be something beautiful, one beautiful place where the sportists and athletes are competing, but how much negative things the social media and the newspapers and wrong talks can bring into your house, into your home, into each corner of your wider family. And that nearly destroyed me at certain point, So I had to rest. I had to give everyone in my family few years of rest from
Sure.
my passion, I would say, from my passion. And then
And yeah.
Holland, you ask me. You see, when you lose the semi-final game in a way we did against France, it's not easy to bounce back and then go and face at that time the best team in the World Cup by far. Holland was the
Mm.
best in the World Cup 1998. They were very unlucky to
Yes.
lose against Brazil in that semi-final game, but by the football they played, continuous quality football, great passing, progressive football, great speed, so many talented players in the team. How are you going to go there after losing the semi-final game? Of course, they lost it also,
Mm.
but it was not easy. It was not easy for us. It was huge disappointment for one generation, which was there clearly seen as a dark horse, but dark. So there, the character needs to come up. The
Mm.
resistance and all what was left. It was left at that pitch that day against Holland, playing those 90
Mm.
minutes against them, convincing the world that Croatia is not just one case at one World Cup tournament, and it's been proven later on how great country, sportist and football country we are.
And since you mentioned, India and how things started with you, what were your first impressions, Iron Igor, when you first came to India? Because India was far from being an iron team when you first took charge, and they were just coming out of the Stephen Constantine era, and there were lots of problems to fix, and of course, lots of new talent that deserved an opportunity. But what were your first impressions when you first took charge of office? You saw, okay, I need to fix this, 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 and that.
Too many fixes, too many things to fix. No, obviously, I had different expectations. I could clearly see the challenges. They were very visible to me. I could clearly see that what kind of football I don't want to play with India. But to change that, the time was needed, huge amount of time, because making radical changes into any structure, never mind how bad or good it is, it requires time. And as a national team coach, you never have enough time. Simple as that. But I could see the possibility, because knowing that ISL season goes on for 3.5 months in India, I could clearly see time which could be given for the national team. I could clearly see that, and at that point I was promised that there is open door from the government at that time to include POI players into the team, which could clearly see immediate effect and impact on the results of India, and huge impact. We all know what it means in ISL when you have 4 foreign players in the team. You can compete in Asian Champion League. Without foreign players, you don't stand any chance. And POI players for Indian national team are like foreign players improving the squad in the best possible imaginable way you can get. And still don't understand, to be honest, good explanation or good reason why we are only one of the few countries in the world not using that opportunity to taking India with their own youngsters, which are having so much passion and commitment, ready to give for Indian anthem, representing the country, and we are not using it. They could immensely improve our team and have great impact, immediate impact on the team. This is the point which needs to be discussed, obviously, because otherwise, with clear mind and very sincerely, as I always speak, it would take us another 10 to 15 years, but followed by much more investment into the football structure, into the football development, recognizing the talented spots in the country, which are the places where India needs to invest immensely, immediately, and make a huge impact. And believe me, these places are not Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi. No, these are rural areas. These are the villages of 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 people. I will tell you one thing. 2 days ago, I was participating at the one little event here in Croatia. It's a village with less than 2,000 people, which through its history with its small club gave 3 captains. 2 were captains of Yugoslavian national team, and third one is Zvonimir Boban, which was the captain of my generation. A village of less than 2,000 people. These boys, these players started in that little club, in that little village, but that little village had the same pitch as it is today, with another training pitch, and it had so much love and passion for football, and it had a football culture there.
Yeah.
Rural areas in India are the places we need to go. We need to. I need to tell you, I'm receiving every day. I try to do my best, and I leave half an hour to check upon my social media. I have wonderful guys taking care of my social media, and I appreciate them so much, because it's kind of a connection. But I try personally to at least answer 100 messages every day and check, because somehow I feel that there is always a talented boy somewhere in India who will contact me. And that's exactly what happens. More and more I am receiving, and I am inviting all of them. Contact me through my social media. We are checking everything. Tell us about the problems you are facing. 99% of them, they don't have club or place to go. They don't have structured competition where they can show their talent. That's the biggest problem in India. So, to go back, if we don't involve POI players in certain time, very soon, we need to be ready to wait another 10, 15 or 20 years to achieve more, to achieve our dreams. And that's going to be very difficult, because I will repeat myself once again. It's not about the progress you are making. It's about the speed of the progress you are having while going forward. And if you look at the moment that we are at the 18th position on rankings in Asia, that we have 17 countries in front of us, which are investing heavily, much more than us, into their football, which are giving their football national team much more time than we do. You tell me by the mathematical point, how are we going to overcome these teams? If they are investing more, if they are giving more time to their national team for work, how are we going to beat them? That's not reasonable to expect. That's why I'm insisting. Give us at least same amount of time, because I know that I can provide much better work than their coaches there. I know that. We have wonderful young talented players and young squad which we can count on for the next 10 years, which we created in the last 4 years. And now, are we going to use this opportunity, or are we just going to keep sleeping like it happened in the last 25, 30 years, and then say, okay, another missed opportunity? So this is a time when we need to react, when we need to consider all our options and see what is our future.
You speak of the PIO players who are the people of Indian origin or persons of Indian origin. Has anyone been in touch with you directly and said, Igor, I'd like a chance to play? Have any of these guys been in touch with you directly and said, I want to play for India. Can you make it happen?
Absolutely. I'm in continuous touch with all the boys who are playing at the biggest stage in Europe, I will just mention 2. Danny Butt, Jan Danda are in weekly touch with me, discussing the point and begging, absolutely begging, coach, please do everything from your side. We wanna represent India. So a boy who
It's a
plays
difficult one.
in Sturm, Sarkaria also, and many others.
Yeah, this is very interesting because obviously this is something that only the government can change if they want to change. It's not in your hands. All you can do is request them. Uh, but it might take a while for it to happen. Have you had chats with Kalyan Chaube or with the AIFF about this in detail to say if can we make a roadmap for it? If it cannot be done right away, if we can make a provision for it going forward, and have they been?
It's all been done. My wide presentations were being sent to AIFF officially. It's a presentation on POI players. It's a presentation on past 4.5 years of work, and it's a presentation about what needs to be done in the phase two. And it's also one beautiful document which we worked on together, all staff, which is called Culture Manifesto of the Senior National Team of India. It's kind of an explanation what it means for those who are knocking on the door of the national team, what they can expect and what they need to achieve to get there and how they need to behave once they get there.
It's not been an easy run, right? I mean, you started with an 11 match winless run, I remember, and there was a lot of pressure on you also because you were still coming to grips. And then COVID happened. I remember you won the SAF Cup in 2021, Igor, and 2022 started with losses to Bahrain, to Belarus, and to Jordan. But since then, India have only lost one game to Vietnam, and they've been on an 11 match unbeaten run ever since. What has changed, you think, from that 11 match winless run to this 11 match unbeaten run that you see the transition? PIO players or no PIO players, that's separate. But what you have in the squad, how have they managed to turn this around under you?
Listen, with our boys and with this squad, sincerely, I'm telling you, if you give me enough time, no team will come out on the pitch against us and enjoy a good time. That's what I can promise you. But there is another point. I cannot promise you winning great teams with this. I cannot promise you that. And I don't mean we don't stand a chance. We do stand a chance against anyone. That was clearly proven at the beginning of my work going to Qatar after having that sad loss against Oman at home, which could have defined the qualifiers in a very different way. But don't forget that we had a 6-week camp prior to that. Don't forget that. And when you mentioned those friendly games throughout pandemic, when we played Belarus, Bahrain, and these, we were going to that game one day prior to the game. I had a half of the team reaching the city where we played the game 1.5 hours prior to the game. I'm not accepting that anymore. No, you will not have Igor Stimac with such organization and such things, because our followers, they don't know what's going on. Our supporters can only see the result and the performance, quality of the performance. And that's how they judge me. But I will not give myself anymore to be exposed in a such bad and poor way, having such a bad organized trips, not having visas on time and certain things, you know. No, not anymore. If we want to go there to top 10, then we need to behave and act like these top 10 countries. And this is not the thing about any kind of a salary their coaches are getting there. No, because, and I will mention that, don't forget that our staff is paid only 1/4 of the average salary of one head coach of top 15 Asian countries. All our staff. This might be and sound a lot for Indian people, but all Indian coaching staff is paid only 25% of the average salary of one head coach in top 15 countries in Asia. So, going where we're going to go, where we want to go, requires changes in all aspects. Camp durations, priority. You want a result, we need more time for work. Is it possible? I'm telling you it is. It is. It is. Country comes first, always. And then we think how we sort out other things. Broadcast, ISL games. Do we stop the league? Do we allow ISL clubs to use more foreigners instead of the national team players who are absent? Why not? You know, many possibilities are there. Give opportunity for those who are giving 6-7 players to postpone their game. Why to stop the league? Just postpone one game, 2 games. Then you will find time when to play it. We need to make sure we play the season throughout April and May. Elections or no elections, what elections got to do with football? Why we need to stop the league because election is coming? You know, those are the things which needs to be done and changed. So we cannot think differently from all these countries who achieved to be part of top 8 in Asia. Let's not forget how much money they are investing. Several hundreds times more than India. So how are we going to get there? What? With same kind of investment? Without structured football for under 17, under 18, under 19? No competitions? at the crucial age. We started baby leagues, grassroots leagues, but that will take 15 to 18 years for players to develop to the highest level. But not in this way. We need foreign coaches there. Exactly. Good developmental coaches. Now, what's another point? We need the guys who are there, obviously, using government stadiums to build the stadiums, football stadiums. That's the investment in football. You cannot keep using government stadiums, renting stadiums, having problems with athletes, having training sessions at the same time, and all that. These are the investments, crucial investments. Training pitches. Each club needs to have a proper training pitch with 6 to 8 football pitches, indoor for the weather conditions ready there because we have a problem with the monsoon season and all that. So these are investments. Investments are not bringing foreign players to India. That's not investments which kind of brings prosperity to Indian football. Yes, in a way that our players will advance their game, but the foreign players bring also problems to us because when my players come to the national team, we lose 7 to 10 days every time for them to find out that there is no foreign players on the pitch. They need to do it by themselves. You see, there are advantages and things which are not going in your favor when we speak about everything. So, anyway, the coaches were being great in ISL last couple of years. Had a wonderful relation. I'm sorry not to see some of them with us anymore because too many changes are happening in ISL at the head coach position. You cannot expect from one coach you employ that he comes to India in 1 month, he makes you the team and gets the results. That's not possible. We need to choose good coaches like we were doing. All these coaches I've seen in India were very good, believe me. But these guys need the time. They need longer contracts. You need to speak about coach, about his vision, long-term plans, how he can help your club. Not changing the coach every year from season to season and then changing the philosophy and then players become confused. And, it's not helping the national team also. And I have a feeling that in the past few years, it's been everything reverse from what it should be. Actually, the national team was working for the clubs. Apart from wonderful coaches who were opening the door for the youngsters and backing them up. Never mind they were doing bad or good, they were there, they were playing. And that was really important for us, But most of the time I had a half of the team because I knew from the beginning 11 players I want to start with. But every time there was 4 or 5 of them with injuries and few of them on the bench, not playing in ISL or playing different position. And then I need to do all the work to bring these players back, to lift up their disappointment of the actual situation within the club and bring them into the form and then send them back. It should be reverse. I should be able to pick up the best performing player from ISL, which is still so small with 12 clubs there. We need 20 clubs there to create a bigger pool of players for the national team. We don't have a big players, especially speak about attacking positions and centre-back position. You see, we have so many fullbacks, we have so many wingers, so much competition on these positions and defensive midfielders, but where are the scorers? Who is going to replace one day our friend? Who? And how? If we have only foreign players in the top 2 tiers. And we are not accepting that we need to change something there. How are we going to change? Either we allow POI players to represent the country on these positions, at least on these positions. I'm not saying give us fullbacks from POI pool or wingers. We have these. I need a striker, attacking midfielder. I need another option on the centre-back position. So there are possibilities to change things. And I'm not a coach who is thinking of, if it happens one day, to replace our actual players with 11 POI players. No. The soul needs to be there, Indian.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Huge pool of the players is those who were with me already. but improving on these crucial positions where we are not having enough competition, it's really important for us. You could clearly see, let's say, in the last two tournaments, one different Sahal. You could see one different Tapa. You could see one different Anwar Ali, who was at this high stage, proving that he's already one of the best centre backs in Asia. Believe me, not in ISL. This boy needs to go out. We shouldn't imprison him in India. This boy needs to see a bigger stage of football, and it's time for him to think now. You see, this Croatian boy, Joško Gvardiol, we sold him when he was 19-year-old to Leipzig Red Bull. Then they paid 30 million for him. And second step is Manchester City, 100 million. The biggest paid defender. And Anwar can go different place in a different way, but it's the same process. If he wants to upgrade his football, if he wants to help the country more, he needs to feel more pressure in football.
I had a point here, and this is something that's been a debate going on for a long time about how some Indian players feel that they're more settled in this environment of the Indian Super League or settled playing football in India. Do you think there's lack of ambition amongst Indian players sometimes in terms of trying and testing themselves abroad? Or are they too worried that they're just going to warm the bench there? That's why they don't want to go there. What do you make of this?
I cannot blame our boys for not having enough ambition. They have enough ambition. But what's wrong at the moment, which I said a long time ago, they are overpaid in India. Simple as that. Yeah. Because the value is defined by the global market, not by ISL market. And this proportion in the salary price at the moment in India and elsewhere is enormous. And this is not helping our young boys to challenge themselves to go abroad. And I don't blame them. Why should they risk having such a big contracts here and going somewhere for 10 times less money, but in a better league, in a more competitive league, a league with more intensity football? And that's how it is at the moment. And that's another thing which is not helping us. Boys are enjoying in ISL. ISL is getting better year by year, but the process is slow. The process is slow. You know how long it took us to come from 7 foreign players on the pitch to 3+1. We couldn't do it in one season like this. No, it took us 4 years. How long will it take us to have 20 clubs in ISL? Another 10 years. Why? We have enough competitive clubs in I-League to make one strong competitive league. But there are, of course, I understand there are other interests also, but I don't find these interests as favorable to Indian football. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Yeah.
After the Asian Cup, your tenure runs out. If given a chance, Igor, will you stay? The team's moving in the right direction. A lot of fans would say it might turn out to be the perfect marriage.
Wait, Asian Cup for decisions about future. You see, and I didn't request this interview, you requested it, but you are asking me, and I'm telling you now, either we decide now that next 2 years we are together, and if I achieve things which I promise, if I'm given enough time, in the next 2 years, then automatically we can speak about 2 more years, which is just regular and normal thing to do.